Jordan, when did you start to be able to fully trust, your body, that you could go out there and not have to think at all about, oh no, I may tweak something or anything like that?
Honestly, I feel like I've always been able to trust it. I've just been, put in unfortunate situations, but I've never played like, oh man, I might get hurt this down, because ultimately that's how you get hurt. So I've just been, I let it loose every time, and God, the grace of God, I'll just stay healthy, and I feel way better. So.
Sam Khan, go ahead.
Jordan, how's it felt just to be running around doing what you do without any issues? And what would you say you've liked so much about how this spring has gone for you?
I'll say it's been feeling great. My body's been feeling amazing. And, the offense is great. And I think this spring has been like a real eye-opener for me, just as much as I've developed as a receiver, and just seeing this offense and what we can do it's going to be amazing.
Dennis, go ahead.
Jordan, the fan base is stoked of what your potential is in Sark's offense. What do you think? How are you feeling about your potential in this offense?
I see it as, being explosive. I mean, he's an explosive play caller, and you need explosive players. And I think, just getting put in the right position, he'll put you in one-on-one. I just got to win those. If I do that, then it'll be great.
Brian, go ahead.
Jordan, Steve has talked about moving guys around and just keeping the best players on the field. I wonder how many different positions have you been at? Are they moving you around to get matchup advantages?
Yeah, we do that pretty much with every receiver. You can go in and out. That's basically how it is. And you just, depending on the formation, it'll be in or out. And he's trying, like I say, he's trying to put you in one-on-one situations.
Cole Thompson, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan. So working with Coach Sark, someone who's worked with 4 future first-round wide receiver prospects in the past, what have you learned from him so far? And also, what have you learned from your new coach and Andre and what he's shown you? Just, is there something different from this coaching staff and what they've brought over from what you've had in the past?
Yeah, I've noticed that they care a lot about the relationships. And also what I've learned from Coach Sark is just, the schemes in defense, seeing defenses and knowing what's coming before you snap the ball. Coach Coleman is a great coach. He's helped me with all the little things. He's big on details, and I really appreciate that.
Kirk Bowles, go ahead.
Yeah, Jordan, could you name 1 or 2 of your teammates who's impressed you the most that may just blow up next fall?
I'm going to name 3: Troy O'Meary, Bijan Robinson, Josh Moore, on the offensive side.
Baloo, go ahead. Jordan, can you take us back to the last 2 years, just your frustration levels? Was there ever a moment where you just were going to lose it with everything you've been through, and just kind of take us through how frustrating it's been?
Yeah, the first 2 years was very frustrating. I went through a dark time, like a really dark one, but I just kept my trust in God, and I told myself, if I'm going to quit, God's going to have to literally walk in my room and tell me to, if this isn't what is for me. So I'm just still going, and I feel like I'm on the bright side. I'm glad I didn't stop going, because now I feel like just the year.
Chip Brown, go ahead.
Jordan, can you talk about what you've seen from the quarterbacks and the volume of this offense that y'all have had to learn?
I think the quarterbacks, they're evenly, they're great. They're really talented. I'm excited to see what they do in the fall. And just this offense, like I said, it's an explosive offense. There's a lot of one-on-one situations, and you could just see it. I can't wait to see people witness it this weekend in the fall, but it's an exciting offense.
Got time for a few more. Cedric, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan. We watched you blow up at Cuero in the state championship game, and came in with a lot of expectations. It hasn't gone the way you would have liked so far. What are your goals in this coming season? It's kind of a new slate with a new coach, and what are your goals now under Sark?
My goals would be first win the Big 12, win the Natty, and individual goals would be play every game and 0 drops, and lead. I've been trying to be really vocal, telling people their responsibilities and how to fix things when they mess up, and also listening to people when I do make mistakes.
Roger Wallace, you're up.
Hey, Jordan, I know spring camp's tough. You're by yourself. Saturday, you get to get out and get some fans in the stadium. How exciting is it knowing they're excited about, what potential this team has, just to kind of get a connection with the fans again?
Yeah, it's gonna be great, because with COVID, it was half capacity, but being able to be out there and show the new offense, new staff, and from the best fans in the nation, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they've stuck with us this long. I'm glad they're excited. We're excited to show them.
Sam Khan, go ahead.
Jordan, I think Coach Sarkisian said that he felt like, or throughout this spring, you've been one of the furthest along in terms of picking up the offense. What have you done in order to absorb and comprehend everything that they're throwing at you from a playbook standpoint?
I take notes on everything. I pay attention. When I'm not going, I'm watching the play ahead of me when I'm out, and I'm just, watching everything, learning it by the concept and not my individual thing, and also just forcing myself to learn it. Sometimes I'll purposely not write it down to force myself to remember. So that's basically how I do it. Everybody has their own ways, but that's what's been best for me so far.
3 last ones for Jordan. Terry Middleton, go ahead.
Jordan, good morning. Thanks for being here. So on the last call with Coach Sarkisian, he called out several players, and you were the first one he called out that just brought it to the scrimmage. And I wanted to ask you, what did you do to raise your game, or what did you do in that scrimmage that you got noticed clearly?
Honestly, I just go really hard, and I pay attention to the defense when it's coming, and I don't know. I think the main thing is just going hard. It's my effort. It's not really nothing, no razzle dazzle. It's just when I go hard, I get in position to make plays, and I make them when they come to me.
Carter Yates, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan. So you've been here a couple years now, and you mentioned that you're trying to step up as a vocal leader. Who are some of the younger freshmen that have impressed you this spring in the younger wide receiver room?
Dayton Alexis has been good. Corey O'Meary, but he's a sophomore, but he's been coming along really good. Who else? Do they all need to be freshmen, or can I name all the receivers?
No, name all the younger.
Yeah, because I want to point out Marcus Washington. He's been having a really good spring. Yeah.
Last one, Danny Davis.
Jordan, speaking of leadership, throughout the spring, Roshan's name has come up a lot. People talking about leaders on this team, or people kind of stepping up in that category. What is it about him, and does universal praise from your teammates?
He's very vocal, and when he's vocal, everybody listens, because when he talks, actually, it means something. He's correcting you on what you messed up on, and he's going to tell you why. That's the main thing about him. He tells you why, and also you believe him because you can trust him. A lot of people won't follow a leader they can't trust, and I feel like everyone on this team trusts Rashawn.
Hey, Deshaun, what would you say is the biggest difference between this staff and the previous staff as far as what they stress and what they emphasize?
With both staff, they both emphasize a lot of effort, make sure we all run to the ball, everybody catching the ball, just making sure everybody is more physical. They both come with the same mentality, which is a good thing. And yeah, that's about it.
Chip Brown, go ahead.
Deshaun, who stood out to you? Maybe even some new faces in the secondary and at linebacker.
It's a lot of young guys stepping up. Just from the older guys helping them out, meeting them individually, making sure they got all the plays up the part, making sure the guys is learning quickly. So it's no individuals. It's just everybody's just stepping up and doing what they need to do.
Cole Thompson, go ahead.
Hey, Deshaun, just with Coach Pete's new system in the 4-2-5, what he's trying to run, is the coverage still basically the same, or have you seen a little bit more of a different balance than what you saw with your former defense coordinators and Chris Ash and Todd Orlando?
Yeah, I mean that was a little different, but we're still playing basically the same schemes. We also learning more football IQ. So the more we learn, is the better we get, and it's a lot of like NFL players too. So it's getting us prepared for the next level.
Joe Cook, go ahead.
Sean, I think Coach Joseph's position coach number 3 for you. So what's one of the big things that you've learned from him this spring that stands out already that he's brought compared to the last 2 coaches you had?
He's brought a lot. Again, it's the same mentality. They just emphasize more on effort to the ball, catching the ball, football IQ. So he's teaching us more. Yeah, he's teaching us more football IQ, and that's a good thing because it gets us prepared, and it helps us learn the game faster.
Last one, Danny Davis, go ahead.
Deshaun, just what are your overall impressions of Darian Dunn and kind of, what's his, what does he bring to this team in this, cornerback room?
My God, he brings a lot to the team. The one thing he also helps us on is a lot of leadership. He makes sure that everyone is up to par and learning the game. He's catching on pretty quickly, just from coming from a different school. So he's doing very good. And like I said, I appreciate him a lot.
Bijan, what have you seen from Daniel Young this spring in his return to the team?
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of growth. I never got the chance to play with Danny, but as I've been here, he's been growing a lot. With the playbook, with reading different defenses. But he's been attacking. He's been doing well, growing as a player, as a person. So it's good to see how he's been growing, I guess, since he's been here, and for him playing with me for his last year.
Dennis, go ahead.
Bijan, now that you've had a pretty good bulk of the spring with Sark in this offense, are you starting to really feel and see why your potential is boundless in this system?
Yeah, absolutely. Now later in the spring, we're really starting to get the offense and really starting to get things down. But from what he's been doing last year, the year before, or ever since he's been OC or coach, all of his offense has been very successful, very attacking. So seeing how the offense is now and how we're starting to attack more and not really think about anything else is very, very good for me to see for the whole offense and just all of us individually, how we attack for this offense.
Thanks.
Brian Davis, go ahead.
Hey, Bijan, is it realistic for one running back to get the bulk of the carries, maybe 18 to 20, and I don't want to say a pecking order, but a clear number 1 guy, a number 2 guy, and are y'all going to be done with the whole rotation concept?
Well, I don't know. Me and Ro are great running backs. The whole running back room are great running backs, but I don't know Coach Sarkisian's scheme of things and how he'll go about things. But whatever we got, we just got to execute it at a high level, and whatever they do decide to do, we just got to come together as a unit and be the best that we can, for every time we do get the ball or get those touches. So I feel we all have great guys in the room that can make plays and do different kind of things.
Terry Middleton, you're up.
Bijan, good morning. So will you take us through what do you do in your training that gives you that ability to just, we call it break ankles. What are you working on that just gives you this insane ability to cut? And then walk us through when you're going on through the line and you got the ball, what are you looking at from the opponent's standpoint that you just make that instant reaction? What goes through your mind?
Well, I feel that, God gave me a talent to see different kind of things on the field. In practice, Coach Drayton gives us a lot of drills that he's had with other running backs before, just to, bring the bags out, break tackles, like envision that's an defender that's trying to come after you. And, we see on film a lot where defenders' weaknesses are and how we got to attack those weaknesses, for the ongoing practices. But, I feel that we make, a lot of stride, focusing on, different assets of our skill set and how we, come off of plays, come off of block, come off of anything. And, when we get to that second level, it's time to, turn it on and make people miss because we all hate getting tackled. And Coach Drayton always emphasizes that, don't let nobody bring you to the ground. So we for me, I try to do everything I can to, make people miss and try to get north and south, to score the touchdowns, for in practice and stuff.
Sam Khan, go ahead.
Bijan, when Coach Sark got hired, how much did you look back at, if at all, at what Najee Harris did at Alabama and envision how you would fit in that, and what excites you most about this offense?
Well, seeing with Najee, he did a lot of different kind of things in that offense. I didn't see him that much, but whenever I did see him, I saw they used him in a lot of different ways, from either swings out of the backfield, getting open space, running the ball tackles. But ever since Sark came here, we've been doing the exact same stuff. Getting us an open space, running the ball efficiently, and counters, inside zone, whatever it is to make the best decision for this offense. But I feel that he's utilizing us in every single way that he can, and it's been a good look ever since he's been here.
Bob Ballou, go ahead. Bijan, I know you were only with him a year, but how frustrating was it for Jordan just the last couple of years, kind of dealing with what he's dealt with, and how great is it to see him, kind of at full health and his ability in this offense?
With Jordan, now that he's back healthy, it's been explosive. Jordan always had that skill set, and God forbid, anything happens to him, going down in the future. But seeing him, bounce back from all the injuries and probably the bad things that happened in his life, it's a blessing to see him come back and really take advantage of the time that he's had here in the spring, and to see what he can do, and to show the country what he can do. And we talk all the time, just stay patient, because God has a plan for your life, and God knows what he's doing. And ever since then, he's been patient, and now that he's back healthy, he's been looking at his best, and I can't wait to see what he can do.
Chuck Carlton, go ahead.
Yeah, I was curious how much the last couple games of last season meant in terms of your confidence and momentum going forward. The K-State game, the bowl game, two big breakout efforts for you. But is there a carryover for that? Not physically, at least from the standpoint of, hey, this is what I can accomplish on this level.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it gives you confidence, but it just shows, what we can do, especially with Coach Sark coming here, as an offense. Just, when we start doing the right things and start attacking defenses, we can do anything, and we can try to be our best, and just to see that kind of layout happen, and see what God did for me towards the end of the season, and how everything opened up. It was a good feeling to see, and it's a confidence booster, heading to the season right here.
Cedric, go ahead.
Bijan, coaching changes are never easy, but you do have the luxury of you get Stan Drayton back. He's
Yes,
retained. How good is that for you and Roschon to be playing for the same running backs coach, even though the scheme may be a little bit different?
Well, it's a blessing for all of us, because I feel, Coach Drayton is, a very high respected coach, in college football, especially in the running back position, and just how he, helps us out a lot, and gives us the vision to, be the best that we can, on and off the field, and as young men, as, football players, and just see how his experiences, translate over to us on the field. It's been really well, to see, and I'm just, very thankful and blessed that we have him back to continue to, the journey and the ride that we have, all of us together.
Cole Thompson, go ahead.
Hey, Bijan. So the entire spring, Coach has mentioned Roschon's name as just a leader, as someone who's really improved in the game overall, and just how his mentality has been just one of the driving forces of this offense. But for you, being in the same position room, what does it mean, and what's your relationship like with him? How does he strive to make you better? How do you strive to make him better? Just overall, what is the basis of y'all's relationship, especially at a position that seems to be going to be growing in Steve's offense?
It's huge. Roschon always, pushes me to be the best, player I can be. And I feel that I push him as well. And even in the room, Coach Drayton's always, harping on us to, make each other better, no matter what the situation is, and make the team better, because, the team looks at us a lot. When we do, how we go about our business, when we do some good things, for this team, we're leaders on the team, and we got to, keep executing for each other to be the best, so the whole team can, follow through and be at its best, come for the fall season. So I feel that Roshan is, a big help and a big blessing to my life because, we always push each other to be the best, throughout the whole season.
Time for a few last ones. Jim Vertuno, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Bijan. Anytime there's a coaching change, I imagine there's got to be some anxiety among the players. But now that you are coming to the end of this spring, how would you describe how this new coaching staff and this team have fit together and grown together in these last few months?
I feel we've grown very well. All of us players, connected with the coaches, immediately. All the new coaching staff, all the new coaches, we've all developed relationships. We've established, personal relationships with a lot of them, and just how they go about business and how they go about their standards is, helping the team a lot because, it makes football, it makes us want to play the game a lot harder, and it makes us just want to execute for each other. And all the coaches see, what kind of talent that they have. So we just, keep trying to be our best, as a team, individually, and just how we go about our business, on the field. And to see what the new coaching staff is doing is a great look for this team.
Three last ones, starting with Kirk.
Yeah, Bijan, I was curious how much bigger you are than maybe you were last season. And is the Heisman Trophy a realistic goal for you next year?
Well, I kind of stay the same weight-wise, around that 218, 219 stature. But, I really don't. I know there's a lot of hype around, Heisman Trophy, all that stuff. But, I don't really pay attention to that stuff because, if you start paying attention, then you'll start getting the big head and you won't work as hard. So, me and the coaches talk all the time, just, keep staying focused. God's blessed you, but I'm still a young player and I got so much to work on. And I'm just trying to, be developing, at the right pace, at the right speed. And, I just got to keep trying to be the best that I can. And, those things are down the line. So we focus on the now and today.
Danny, go ahead.
Going back to Roshan, why is his voice a voice that people in your locker room will listen to?
He just, how he goes about his business. He's a very vocal leader. He's a loud, energetic, type of player that a lot of people listen to. For all of us, how we are on the field, they see the example. When he does get very energetic, fired up, it affects the whole team. Especially in the running back room, how he'll go about that. I'm more of a quiet type of leader. But we just try to lead by example, and especially with Roshan, how he vocalizes his emotions, it affects the whole team, in a positive way.
Last one, Carter, go ahead.
Hey, Bijan, what was the biggest lesson you think you learned from your freshman season that you're trying to take into the spring this year and the upcoming season?
I'll say patience, just being patient. Things will open up as it did, for last season. And I feel that if we just stay patient and know what, God has for all of us and, just let's keep in, that right mentality to, be our best every day, and, not think about the future, but just striving to be, a championship team every day and all of us come together. For me, that's a big step for me, and how we just go about our business and just be patient through this time. We'll really see things start to open up.